How's it going, boys and girls? So, I figure it's been about 3 years since I originally uploaded the video on how to make an eBay wastegate actually useful, or something along the lines of that. I can't actually remember what it's titled. I'm too lazy to pull out my phone to take a look at it and see what it is. So, anyways, been about 3 years. It has been on this car ever since. Granted, this car is not a daily driver. It is not something I drive a lot. The most I drive it is back and forth to work, and that's maybe 50 miles round trip. It spent maybe about a year down, so you can scratch a year off of it. So not a lot of miles, maybe 7 or 8 thousand miles since I've had this thing together. Not a lot. I don't drive it a lot. Has been a lot of hard miles though, if that makes a difference. Yeah, it hasn't failed me yet, except what I've started to notice lately is when I start the car in the morning, I can hear exhaust coming out the dump tube. I can hear exhaust coming out, so it does appear to be leaking. I'm not sure what's wrong. It could be, I'm guessing it's probably getting stuck open. My other guess is that maybe the spring that's in here is starting to wear out, because the spring I have in here is like a 3-pound spring. It is a very, very light spring, because I'm using a Mac boost controller. So I'm sending pressure to the top to keep the gate closed. So yeah, I just have a really light spring in there so that if it fails safe for any reason, I basically have like zero boost. If something goes wrong, if this guy stops working, it just defaults to gate pressure, which is practically nothing. So I'm thinking that maybe with that weak of a spring in there, over time, it's just kind of weakened up and it's allowing it to leak a little bit until it warms up. It seems to work fine, even though it's leaking, because I think once I start getting into it and it starts building boost, I get pressure on top of the diaphragm and it closes the gate and it builds boost just as quick as it always did. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead, pull this guy off, and I figured since I was pulling it off, now would be a good time to just kind of do an update video, since I still get people asking me, hey, how's this thing holding up? So I'll go ahead and show you. Figured now would also probably be a good time to go ahead and introduce you to the car, since this, the original video has like 70,000 views or something like that, and I only have like 2,500 subscribers, and I get people asking me questions about the car and about the wastegate, even though I have like 200 and something videos uploaded about the car itself that the wastegate is currently installed on. So I figure a lot of people just don't bother clicking through and checking out the profile. So anyways, here's a reason to kind of check out the profile. If you're just here looking for wastegate information and you want some more information, or you just, I don't know, you like weird shit. So here it is. This eBay wastegate is installed on a 1993 Ford Escort GT. The engine is a Mazda 1.8 BP. These engines came stock in the Escort GT. This one has forged internals, Wastegate pistons, H-beam rods, ACL race bearings. Has 99 Mazda Miata cams, because they're the most aggressive cams. They make really good turbo cams. The cam profiles are really good. The cam profiles are really good for like turbo stuff. Has a Skunk 2 Ultra Street manifold on it. That's kind of a recent addition. Has a Chial blow-off valve. Has a CX Racing GT 3084 billet wheel dual ball bearing turbo. The car made at about 20 psi, made about 377 horse. That's on E85. On about 33 psi, it made 460. But it went super lean. It wasn't tuned for it. It was very accidental. I was playing with the duty control for the wastegate, and I basically made it keep the wastegate shut during the entire dyno pull. And so it went all the way. It basically gave it all the boost and none of the fuel. But it made 460 horsepower while doing that. So I think if I actually tune it, I've added a bigger fuel pump and a higher base pressure regulator, so I think now I probably have enough fuel to support that 470 or 460, and I think with better fuel because it was running it was like a 15 something AFR when it made the 460. It was horrible. I'm surprised it didn't melt the pistons, but it was a quick dyno run. Anyways, with enough fuel, I'm hoping with this setup, with this turbo, I can see 500 at the same boost with the right fuel. Maybe, I don't know. The car's been down for about a year because I was swapping a Toyota MR2 transmission into it. That's a whole thing. I have a whole video series on that. But anyways, the Mazda transmissions are made of glass and terracotta and bubblegum, and they will basically completely shatter if you even think about doing a pull on them. So I went through about 4 Mazda transmissions before I decided to go ahead and do the Toyota E153 swap. Very involved, new motor mounts, adapter plate, funky clutch setup. Like I said, I have a whole video series on doing that transfer, or doing that modification. Anyways, fast as the car's gone, 12.006 at 121. That was at the 370 horsepower setting. That was on low boost. So I'm hoping to see low 11s, maybe even a high 10 if I turn it up. I don't know. We'll see. So anyways, back to the eBay wastegate and seeing what condition it's in and trying to figure out why it's leaking, why it's hanging open right now. Welcome back, boys and girls, for Treat Especial. Oh wait, sorry, it's the wrong channel. So, anyways, first thing I noticed upon popping this guy open is that the piston in there appears to be a little off-center. You can kind of see that with the firing ring in there. So yeah, that's a little off-center. So that's probably where the leak's coming from. So the question is, actually it's very off-center. You really get in there. Kind of hard to see if the soot makes it a little hard to tell. But it's a lot closer to this end. It's practically touching versus this end that's open. So the question is, why is she off-center? Let us explore. Alrighty, here's the springy 3-pounder. Can't imagine why that's off center. I think this thing's actually warped now. The issue I had before was this plate wasn't flat on the top there, so it made this a little off center. But if I rotate this in there, it definitely kind of looks like the valve itself might just be bent. So I'll see if I can get it apart and take a look at it. So yeah, all of the hardware, other than one screw, is essentially stripped out. I don't think I'll actually be able to get this off. Alright, so I'm going to putz with this for a little bit, see if I can get it apart, and then I'll check back in. Alright, so I failed to get it apart because all the hardware is all chewed up in there. I'll have to drill those out or something. I probably won't bother trying to actually fix this. I'll probably just buy a new one, possibly a real one. But you can see the valve in there, and then when I rotate her, or you can focus on whatever the fuck you want to focus on, that works too. Alright, so you can see the valve in there. You can see that when I rotate it, it is super bent. So I'm not sure if the two-step did that. Probably a two-step. It's pretty violent. Or if it just decided to warp over time, got super hot and deformed. I don't know. So anyways, that's pretty much donezo. Had a good run, you know. Had a real good run. So like I said, the options are I could buy a new valve and probably rebuild this with actual tile parts. That might be a good option. Or I could just go ahead and just buy an actual tile gate or some other brand. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. Anyways, it's not a huge deal. It's, you know, I won't be going to the track anytime soon. Got that damn Kung Flu going around, so yeah, I'll be stuck at home and tinkering with things as such. So yeah, I guess that's the conclusion of the eBay wastegate. Like I said, she still works. She's just a little warped. She's a little wonky. You know, not quite sure how exactly that happened, but she's definitely bent. Yeah, I mean, she still seals, but just not as good. I mean, she's not sealing, but still makes boost. Just not sealing like she should. So honestly, probably what I'm gonna do is throw it back on and leave it there, and I don't know. I don't know. So if I decide to rebuild it, I'll buy some genuine tile parts. If I don't rebuild it, I'll either buy an actual tile or Turbo Smart or any of those other brands that exist. So in conclusion, I guess the first question would be, knowing what I know now, would I still buy one of these and run it? For $50? Heck yeah. I am cheap, and it did its job. It ran pretty good for as long as it did, considering the environment it was run in. If this was going on something more expensive or something like a daily driver where dependability was number one, then yeah, I'd spend the money on a better. It's annoying as shit. Yeah, I'd spend the money on, you know, something nicer, something with a warranty. But yeah, all right. So that's that. So yeah, like I said, I still haven't decided what I'm going to do. I may go ahead and buy an actual tile. I may buy like a Turbo Smart or any of the other big names that are out there right now. I may buy another eBay wastegate and just, you know, send it because they're only $60 and it worked for 3 years, you know. So at that rate, what the going cost of a 50 millimeter or a 40 millimeter tile gate goes for, yeah, I mean, I could buy like 2 more before I break even, right? so that's you know, that's another 6 years. Well, technically, that's another you know, that's another 8 to 9 years I can get out, you know, before I just buy a. But yeah, I don't know. I haven't decided. I'm gonna go ahead and put this back together, get it back in the car, just so I can still drive it, and I'll update you guys on what I decide to do. Till next time.